We do have quorum. Right, you want to get started?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. The meeting has officially been called to order. First item on the agenda is public comments. As a reminder, if you are here to speak about public comments, this is your time to speak. Angela, you're here. Please go ahead if you have any comments.
Wanted to share the or revisit some discussion that took place at the previous meeting. I had asked if there was a record, if you were going to look into the last election that was held in the district. So that question is still on the floor, and I think that's, oh, and also I don't know, I guess it's in item 7, but there was discussion about sending the notice of filing via email or other mass messaging means.
Okay, your first question. For all prior elections that were held, they were all independent elections. They were not joint with the. With respect to election of officers, I think you might mean, I mean, it's election, not actually election of officers. Election of officers is just.
Oh, you're right. Yep. Oh, I guess to clarify, independent elections were held. Do we know when they were held? How would I be able to find that out?
Could send an email, board could authorize us to look into it. We don't actually have a report, so, of when all of the elections were held,
okay.
Whether they were independent, but if the board authorizes us to look into that, we can,
okay.
Or make an appointment to come to our office and the election files.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Which one of these is?
Okay, all right. Thank you, Angela. All right, agenda item 2 is review and approve the minutes of the November 20th meeting and December 11th meeting. The December 11th meeting was a week ago. We have not had a chance to prepare and send those out. So we will request the board defer the December 11th meeting minutes. The November 20th meeting minutes were sent out when the agenda went out last week. We did not receive any questions or comments prior to today's meeting, but if you have any, please let us know. If there are none, just need a motion to approve as written.
Motion.
Got a motion by Aaron. We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Agenda item 3 is appointment of a new director to fill the vacancy on the board that was created by Dave Kingma resigning since he moved out of the district. Mike Fitzgerald is here to be appointed. Board, I don't know if y'all would like to say anything, or Mike, you want to say anything? We'll go through all of your agenda items, just 6 of them. Yes.
Well, I'll just say that we have 11 great candidates, doing all the resumes and visiting some of the folks. We talked about the meeting, and the board elected Mike, Director of Business Development, PGE. He has over 20 years of experience of dealing with municipal utility districts. So he has great bandwidth to help us on projects we're working on, and we're delighted to have him. So welcome, Mike. So yeah. With that, I make a motion that we accept and seat Mike for the vacancy.
Motion. Second.
Okay.
Aye.
All right.
I just would like to say welcome also, Mike. Your resume is quite impressive with all your experience, and we're just looking forward to your wisdom and input, and sharing that knowledge with us, especially as we have some big things on the horizon, especially the groundwater that's out there on the horizon at some point, and your wisdom and experience and helpful.
Great, thank you. Happy to be here and serve. Just a quick note about me. I've lived in the district 20 years. like Jason, I'm in the land development business, as you guys reviewed on my resume, and 3 kids, and the youngest one just went off to college. So recent empty nester, and I was telling Red, I've got some time to serve and give back to the district now. So happy to do.
Thank you.
All right. Agenda item 4 is the acceptance of the qualification statement, bond, oath of office, affidavit of current director, and the election not to disclose certain information of the new director. Mike, I know we sent those to you last week to look at, and I believe we have them signed now. So we'll go ahead and take your oath of office, and then you will officially be seated as a director. If you will please repeat after me. I, Michael C. Fitzgerald,
I, Michael C. Fitzgerald,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office,
fully execute the duties of the office,
Harris County Municipal Utility District Number 345,
County Municipal District 345,
the state of Texas,
of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
serve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and the laws
the Constitution and the laws
of the United States and of this state.
of the states and
So help me God. All right, board, if we could get a motion to accept his qualification statement, bond, oath of office, affidavit of current director, and election not to disclose certain.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
on favor?
Aye.
Great. All right, you're officially able to vote now. All right.
Congratulations.
Very exciting. All right, agenda item 6 is the training requirements for a new director. This is required by the Texas Open Meetings Act and the Texas Public Information Act. I know you have served on a MUD board before, especially with our one of our districts. So we presented you with a memo which provides the links where you can take those. It's an hour for each. It'll be 2 hours total. You can get a per diem for it. You are required to do those prior to 90 days after you've been seated. So you have about 3 months to get. Any questions?
No.
All right, agenda item 6 is the conflict disclosure statement reporting requirements memorandum. We prepared that memorandum for you, which just provides reasons why you might potentially be disqualified, whether you are related to anybody on the board or the attorney or engineer. You have completed that and you are not conflicted from that, so that is great. No action items. If you have any questions, just let us know. And then agenda item 7 is the election of the officers of the board of directors of the district. Just as a reminder, board, anytime you have a new director come on, you have to elect the officers of the board. So right now we have Rhett as board president, Keith as vice president, Aaron as secretary, David as assistant secretary, and there's an open assistant secretary position. But board, up to you guys whether y'all would like to discuss reorganizing the board.
I'm good. As is,
Yep.
and the head, I can.
Okay, all right, then we've got a motion by Rhett to elect Mike as the assistant secretary of the district. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, great. And then all other board members will stay the same. The board positions will stay. All right, and then agenda item 8 is the approval of the district registration form relative to the appointment of a new director. So anytime you have a change in consultants, district address, or new members, you are required to fill out a Texas Commission on Environmental Quality form within 30 days of that appointment. Our firm does it on your behalf. The only change will be Mike's information, which will just have his name. All of his other information will be confidential, so his address, phone number, that will all be Schwartz Page offices, Schwartz Page and Harding's offices information. We have to file within 30 days, as I said. We will do it on y'all's behalf, assuming you all authorize us to. So just need a motion for you all to authorize us to complete that, update it, and then send it to the TCEQ within the time frame. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, agenda item 9 is another item in connection with Mike being seated. It is the preparation and maintenance of the local government officers list in connection with the conflict of interest disclosures requirement. So chapter 176 of the local government code requires the district to maintain a list of government officers, which includes the board members and the district's investment officers. Anytime that is updated, you have to update that list. That list doesn't actually go anywhere. It's just kept in the district's records, so at our offices. If we can get a motion to authorize Shorts Page to update that list and include Mike as a board member.
Motion.
You have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, agenda item 10, bookkeeper's report. Yeah.
All right, my apologies for being slightly late. Everybody should have a December bookkeeper report. Good news is I did come bearing gifts, so I will give that to you towards the end of the meeting. Past the cover page, on page 2, is your spotlight of the month, focusing on cost of water and wastewater. So it gives you 5 years of your district's historical data of how that's changed over time. Next page is your monthly financial summary for your operating fund. And then following that is your cash flow activity for the month. We had receipts or a wire transfer of $100,000 to cover the 20 checks up for your approval today. The next page, you'll see page 5, which just shows the transfer for the accounts receivable to your operator's account. Pages 6 through 9 make up your actual versus budget comparison for your operating fund. Left 3 columns reporting the month of October, and your right 3 of 9 months. Everything's looking pretty good. On page 9, you'll see that we are doing better than what had been budgeted at this time by $138,000. Next 2 pages, your balance sheet as of October 31st. Page 12 begins your sewer treatment plant fund with your monthly financial summary. In this fund, we have 7 checks for your approval today. Nothing out of the ordinary. 14 and 15 is your actual versus budget comparison for that fund. And then on page 16, you'll see your joint water plant fund summary, followed by 8 checks for your approval on page 17. 18 and 19 is your actual versus budget for your joint water plant fund. And then the next 2 pages show your investment profile and your account balance page. I know we like to discuss for this district with the board, if you heard about the Federal Reserve hiring interest rates just slightly more in the last quarter. So if you're still interested, we can discuss one more CD. Is that okay? We're at 5.58% in our Texas cost right now, and we can lock in at, I won't go minimum, but more lower than 5.50. Lock in that.
Thank you.
Following that, page 22 is your sales tax revenue history. We collected $12,525 for the month of August. And then the next 2 is your cash flow forecast, reflecting your reserves of 64 months. And then it is that time of year for your draft budget for all 3 funds. This is just a draft. It'll be adopted next month. This will be sent out to your consultants for review and feedback here for your revision. That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Draft budget does not include the water.
That would be a question for your engineer. I want to say they did include some dollar amounts, but they are updating the capital improvement, which should update what that cost is. Last time brought up with the board at least over a year ago, and so I'm sure the dollar.
That's correct.
Probably gone down, right?
Obviously.
Did I laugh too soon? But
All right, do y'all have any questions for Yaneth? All right, if we can get a motion to approve the bookkeeper's report and authorize the payment of the invoices presented.
motion.
Second? All in favor? Agenda item 11, tax assessor collector's report. Ashley?
All right, hello everyone. My name's Ashley. I'm filling in today for Isabel. If you'll flip past your cover page, that first page is your tax collector monthly report. In that middle box, you'll see your balance forward. Last month was $67,334.69. Further down in that box, you'll see your total expenses last month were $30,434.81. And your ending balance was $152,295.46. In the bottom box, your total disbursements this month for $80,827.35, and your cash balance to forward is $71,460.11. On the next page is your check register. I brought 6 checks for your review and approval today. Checks 5179 through 5184. There's one correction little check in there. One check going back to the appraisal district for your quarterly assessment. Another one going to the appraisal district for your 5% district commission fee, your bond renewal. And one wire transfer going to your maintenance and operating fund. On the next page is your historical collection data. In that middle box, you'll see tax year 2023. Our office has collected so far $137,850.18. Amount still outstanding right now is $1,020,328.50, and that shows you at 11.90% collected. And that final page is your calculation of cash. This is broken up into 3 sections: the current month, the tax year, and your fiscal year. And this is a breakdown of your income and disbursement. That concludes the report, unless you have any questions.
Ashley, I do check 5181 to Brown and Brown for the bond renewal. So
Yes.
that's from March 31st, 2024. Do they have a deadline of when that needs to be done? Because usually that's done in connection with the district's insurance renewal, which they don't consider until March. I'm not trying to say they're going to make a change or anything. It's just I don't want y'all to renew a bond with an insurance company. They're not going to move forward with it.
Right, I show right here, 11/13/23 was the date listed on.
Board, I don't anticipate you guys making a change. It's of course a board decision, but y'all do have that ongoing litigation where they are.
I can have her hold it until back from you.
I mean, that would be my
Yeah,
recommendation,
let's do that.
board decision. All right, we'll hold it. Board, did y'all have any questions?
I'll have her hold it, check 5181 until we hear back from you.
Great, thank you, Ashley. All right, if we can get a motion to approve the tax assessor collector's report, authorize payment of the invoices, and hold check 5181. Second?
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
All right, agenda item 12 is the delinquent tax collection attorney's report. We do not have a quarterly report for your consideration today. Next quarterly report should be presented at your January meeting. Agenda item 13 is the engineer's report. Jason?
Yes. Good afternoon, board. If you would just follow along with my one-page report here, and then I also have a memo of the tour of the facilities that we had, but I will get into that. Item 13A, authorized design, bid and award, construction contract, member report on that. Item 13B are updates on the generators at the 2 lift stations and at the wastewater treatment plant. No updates on that. The generator deliveries are still tracking at the end of January and beginning of April. The contractor did want me to clarify and make sure that you guys are aware that it's getting here in Houston on those days. So it does take some time to get to the actual project site. So
Talk about how long.
maybe a week. So, item C and D, none to report on those items. Item 13E, the potential repairs on the sidewalk, on the high bike trails. As mentioned on previous meetings, Precinct 4's new directive, they have called call for projects where entities are supposed to submit projects. That was a new directive early last year. We missed, or not we, the Harris County 346 missed submitting that in that new directive. So they will have to apply for that project on April 2024. I have an alarm on my personal calendar to reach out to them in February just to make sure everything's going to be going to plan, and this will be on the Precincts 4 projects for next year. So,
Jason, I just
yes.
have a question. Since that's being resubmitted, I'm sorry, I didn't think of this just now.
Okay.
The board had requested widening of those sidewalks. I think they originally said we don't want to change the scope because the process is taking so long, but we'll just do it during construction.
That was
You
the,
could just remind them.
yes,
that
I
was-
will remind them.
Okay.
That was the original plan for David Lowe
Right.
that had retired.
Yeah.
So it may get lost. So yes, I will make sure that is still the preference for the board to kind of widen the stretch that is north and south going to Kingsland. Yes. So item F, status of service line inventory for the new lead and copper regulations. No update on that. As Robert has reported on the past two meetings, they'll be working with subcontract with LJA to work on the inventory, and that due date is in October 2024. No update on that. We can keep it on the agenda just so we can remind them of that. So. Item 13G, the capital improvement plan. If you guys would follow along here with this memo that I have with you guys here. This is a packet of what we put together. Costello, or now Pape Dawson, met with Infomark out there on December 1st, Friday, December 1st, and we toured the facilities. This is kind of a memo updating the assessment of those facilities. And I can skim through some of this. Lift stations 1 on the first page, and lift stations, both lift stations. Lift stations 1 and 2, the rehabs were done in 2022. So nothing to report on that. We have generators on order as we've been discussing. So everything looks good there. Everything seems to be working. We've in this meeting we've been had many questions for Infomark. They were able to answer what's their heartache, and lift stations 1 and 2 are not on their priority due to the recent rehab. Water plant, at the water plant, there were several things that are on priority there. If you look on page 3, the booster pumps are at the end of its service life there. And we toured those facilities and asked several questions about that. So that will become a priority on the CIP for 2020. The chlorine system there on the bottom of page 3, there we recommend that replacement. That's coming. It's in good condition at this time, but we probably would recommend our CIP for 2020.
Can you just do that based on time?
I'm sorry?
You just do that based on time and fields and it was installed?
Yes, well, we're when we were there with Infomark, we're asking them questions. You know, what's giving them problems, the age of the when was the last rehab, work orders. So we're taking all that to account, and then looking at the condition and some of the pictures we took. So. Page 4, your ground storage tanks and hydro tanks there. We did, Infomark did mention that some of these ground storage tanks and hydro tanks are needing repair on the coatings. So phase 1, we're going to be recommending ground storage tank number 1 and hydro tank number 2 for 2024 CIP, and then phase 2 would be ground storage tank number 2 and hydro tank number 1 for 2025.
You say coatings, internal or external?
The internal coating
Internal
failure.
coating.
Yeah, they were saying there's major corrosion failure in the interior. So
For both?
yes.
So
yes.
why would you defer 1 to 5?
Probably because the amount of trying to kind of phase the projects, so that way we can have work on ground storage tank 1, and then hydro tank 2. That way you can keep the other tanks, and then the next phase would be. You wouldn't. I don't think we would try to do it all at once.
I guess the question is could we do it all next year, even if you phase it? Like first half of 2024,
Okay.
do the first phase, second half of 2024, do the next phase, if in fact there is corrosion, failure.
Okay. All at once. Okay. I will look into that.
All in 1 year, not necessarily.
Yes, all in 1 year.
Yeah. Or just sequential. So that you don't take the whole system down.
Right.
Robert, this probably for you, but when those are being recoded, will we have to use interconnect? Will the district have to open its interconnect?
Potentially. I mean, it just depends on, I guess, the timing of when the coatings would take place and then just the demand. Like if it's peak summer, probably so, just as a precaution. I mean, we are in, constant communication. We have a communication going that I'm, personally on now to be able to track everything. So it's a potential. I mean, ideally, we wouldn't have to, but we will if we need.
I would recommend not do this over the summer months.
Yeah.
Given what happened this past year, but that's not my area of expertise.
Yeah, maybe one in the, I don't know how long it takes, but it's maybe one in the spring and one in the fall or something. Okay. Whatever that makes sense for the summer.
Hopefully, no drought year this year. Fingers crossed.
The generator at the water plant, this is the original generator that's been in place. So we've asked the Infomark for just making sure that the parts that are available are not obsolete. But we are recommending to replace that generator in the CIP, but not an immediate priority.
But like 2025 then?
Here.
It still probably has a few years, but more of the concern of it's getting to that time frame, maybe 5 years down the road, where companies that make parts for it will stop making parts for it, so that it becomes difficult to repair.
So this could be a 2026.
Yeah. Here on the memo it says we recommend budgeting to replace the generator within the next several years. So it hasn't been laid out as. Again, this is board. This is just the memo of the tour. We will definitely have more numbers and years put to the actual CIP.
And you'll give us a prioritized list of what we need to do.
Correct. Yes. Building and motor control center, we've observed some repairs on that, notably in the around the exterior and the roof. Our wastewater group is recommending that for 2025. Jumping to the wastewater treatment plant on page 6. Treatment unit number 1. Here, as you can see, the clarifier, transfer pipe for the clarifier showing signs of advanced corrosion. Now you have 2 treatment units, treatment number 1 and treatment number 2. Treatment number 1, when we were there, is not online, and they're using treatment number 2, and then they flip-flop. So that's where we were able to see kind of the treatment units on unit number 1, but that's at its end of service life there. We will observe treatment number unit 2 towards the beginning of the year once that changes over, but there will be obviously recommendations there to replace the transfer pipe there. On page 7, the on-site lift station there, since that was rehab, there's no recommendations there, immediate recommendations there. Items, page 8 is the pictures of the building roof, the motor control center, and the blowers. Those are approaching its end of its service life, so we'll be adding that to the CIP. And page 9 kind of summarizes the recommendations at the wastewater treatment plant site. Priority number 1 is replacing the transfer pipe in treatment unit number 1 in 2025. Priority 2 is replacing the lift station valves, 2025 as well. Priority 3 is replacing the. So that is just a quick summary of what our visit was on December 1st, but we will definitely, our group is working to have the full CIP with costs and updates and have that ready for you guys to approve at the next. And also between now and then sharing that with the other consultants so they're aware, and the other MUDs so that they're aware of their cost share as well. So.
Very helpful. Thank you.
So there are a few things to do.
There
This
are
is
a lot
your
of
Christmas wish list.
yes. No,
Merry Christmas, goodbye.
Yeah.
This really helped meeting with them and seeing what gives them heartache, and the guy that's there almost every week. So we were able to prioritize and see what we. So. Item H is Stormwater Solutions is here to report on that. We have Karen here. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, I'm Karen Sears with Stormwater Solutions. If you'll turn, this is the report, and if you'll just turn past the cover sheet. This is, I'm here to discuss your oil, grit, and trash separator. Excuse me. Your OGT unit. You can see on page number 3, this gives you an idea where this unit, it looks just like a manhole, but there's a big unit underneath that manhole there. And it's right here on Cohen Green Lane, and I think this is Sophie Springs as the side street there, but that gives you an idea of where this OGT unit is located. What we do at Stormwater Solutions is we go out and we inspect this monthly, open it up, take a good look inside, and then annually, our engineer on staff will renew this stormwater quality permit and submit that to Harris County. And then, of course, part of what we do too is to keep these units, if there's any kind of repairs or anything that needs to be done to them or any cleaning that needs to be done, then that's part of what we'll do too. So if you'll turn to page number 4, this gives you a good look down into the inside of this unit. This unit was made by Rinker, and as you can tell, it has 2 what we call trash racks installed there. We suspect this unit, the stormwater quality management plan for this unit, which is about a 71-page, so we didn't bring the whole thing, but it does have some information on as to when this was put in place. So the stormwater quality management plan dates back to 2004. So we figure this unit is probably pushing 20 years of age. So it's done really well. It's a really good unit. We don't have really a lot of issues with it. But this shows you how these trash racks are installed inside this unit. And of course, that is to capture all the floatables out of your stormwater so that it doesn't get into your downstream waterways. So you can see that there's a hinge between these two, and then there's brackets on the inside walls of this unit. And it looks like the hinge has come loose, and then at least on one of these trash racks, it looks like the bracket has come loose off the inside, which is these are pretty harsh conditions, so the unit's done pretty well to not have any issues up to date. I wanted to give you an idea of what that looks like inside. Then on page number 6, this just gives you a little excerpt out of your stormwater quality management plan that shows how the requirements are to clean this unit annually, and then of course do your monthly inspections and then renewal of your. So what we have for you today, you can see the proposal there on page number 7, is to send our high vac unit, and you can see on the last page of the report, this just gives you an idea of the unit that will come out, that we will send out. On page number 8, where they will take this unit out and they will vacuum out this unit, and then we'll send a confined space entry crew down inside, and then we'll pull these units out, at least the one that we can see that's leaking. And then we'll take it into our shop. I don't think that this is going to be a big repair. We probably just need to repair the bracket on the inside and get this reinstalled. But your stormwater quality permit is scheduled to renew in February, so we wanted to bring this to you in advance of that. And then be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
While you have it out, it would be, we do it when it's not supposed to rain. I mean, is this something you do for just a very brief time and then bring it back?
We'll take it right into the shop, right? And of course, we'll try and schedule this to do when we're not having a rain event. So we've got folks on staff and a really good shop, and we think we can get this repaired pretty quickly and back in place.
What's the turnaround time?
As far as the cleaning the unit, we'll probably clean it within the next couple of weeks and get this.
The repair takes how long?
It shouldn't take, but like I say, it looks like just a bracket that we'll need to replace. So we'll take it into the shop, and I would think over a day or two to get it back in place. It looks pretty minor. If we run into, when we do our inspection, if we run into anything more, we'll certainly leave it in place and support it as best we can, and bring that back to you.
Seems reasonable.
All right, y'all have any questions for Jason? Jason, I think that's the news report, right? You have no action items with respect to your report?
No.
Okay, and then the proposal that Karen. Questions? All right, if we can get a motion to accept Stormwater Solutions proposal in the amount of $3,700, subject to the receipt of the text. Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great.
Thank
All
you,
right.
directors.
Thank you, Karen. All right, agenda item 14 is the status of the acquisition of the property owned by Second Baptist Church for a second water well. I do not have an update. I reported to y'all last month that the offer went out to Second Baptist Church. I have not heard anything. Figured I could follow up in the new year, since it's getting pretty close to the holidays and we sent it before Thanksgiving. I kind of figured maybe things were going to move a little bit slow. So I'll follow up with them beginning of next year. And then once we get that updated cost estimate summary from Costello, which I think might be presented to you guys next month or February, whenever it's presented, I'll probably talk with you guys about sending that updated cost estimate to Harris County 364, since I don't think they have seen a cost estimate since you guys have, which was 1.5 million. I think we talked at least about the cost going up, but we haven't seen anything. But no, nothing, no real update for you guys this month. Back to agenda item 14. Any questions? Agenda item 15 is the operator's report, Robert.
All right, well, good afternoon, board. Welcome, Mike. My name is Robert Miller, Infomark.
Nice to meet you.
All right, so if you grab my report, turn past the cover page. Previous action items, just our ongoing surge protection. I did get confirmation that our ATS unit has been shipped, so we do expect that here before the end of the month. And of course, as soon as we have that, we'll put it in immediately. Current action items isn't really action, it's just more of a review. We did get our results from our private labs, AB Labs and Eastex Labs for our Q4 results for the arsenic testing. And so if you turn over to the next few pages, you can see the AB Labs, the first one held at water plant GST1, holding at the 7.72. Flip past the next page, we have at the 914 Fairgate location, and that one's at 8.08. And then lastly, the next page on Eastex, our GST there was showing 8.03, and then 914 Fairgate 8.19. So just a reminder that our limit we want to be under is 10. So
How often are we doing this?
every quarter. So we're doing it in line with TCEQ's testing. So we haven't gotten their results yet, but we did it the same day that their lab came out and pulled the sample. And I believe last time we discussed we haven't heard from TCEQ if they're changing their sampling schedule, if they're going to reduce it. That, I mean, obviously we can keep going as frequent as the board would like.
We doing the same points each quarter?
Correct. Yes, the same locations that the state pulls from.
It would be helpful to me if y'all could do a trend report on those.
Oh, I'm sorry, what
Trend report on
Oh, sure,
those, just
sure.
to see, because I think we're just looking at raw data here. Nice to see a trend if one of them was changing.
You bet, you bet. Yeah. All right. Any other questions on those results? All right. So we turn back to the executive summary page behind the cover page. Just going through the remainder of the items on our compliance side. All of our samples came back compliant, so no concerns there. The interconnect, as we discussed, or as I mentioned earlier, we do have a communication with the Marlin Ivy and Associates, with their manager, their operator, my operator, and myself. And of course, Alan's included on it as well, just so that way we can coordinate to the best of our ability to use up the water. They have told us to hold off on opening it yet, but we have let them know we're, ideally wanting to open it up start of January, start of February, so we can run through it.
I'm sorry, they asked you to hold off on opening it when?
Currently.
Why? Because y'all have not gotten even close to your 30 million gallons for this year, and we had talked about what y'all didn't use you could carry over.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're telling the district that they cannot take anything from the interconnect, then we need to rediscuss that with 260.
Okay. Yeah, so they told us to hold off right now. I don't have the reason as to why. It's just the operator said, hold off right now. We're getting our game plan together. So they may just be getting some information to me shortly, but I don't have those details yet.
You follow up with them and let Kate know then, please?
Of course, of course.
I'll need to know the dates of when they told you that, because it looks like district didn't take anything during the last billing cycle.
You got. Let me just make my note here. All right. And so we added the line item here as discussed last month that, shows our 216 usage of what we currently have of our allotted and then the remaining. And, we did add the line item into our, after the arsenic results into our operations report as well. So we have that for reference. Moving me on there, metered and billed for 345, 19,258,000 gallons. Metered and billed for 346 at 3,610,000. Accountability showing at 85.70%. Our well GPM is ranging anywhere from 1450 to 1550. And as far as our wastewater treatment and collection, all compliant, no excursions to report. Under operations, potable water, we just have our monthly flushing that we do every month. We did have 21 meters that we changed out for the meters over 1 million program. We had 1 leak repair, 1 level and sod, 4 said leak repair. And then LJA came out and did their sampling for reduced lead and copper. So that's just a part of a 3-year schedule required by the state. Under sanitary sewer, we have our monthly lab work as usual. We cleaned our aeration basins and the lift station and CO2 basin, and then cleaned some overgrowth on the outfall coming out of the wastewater treatment plant. Nothing under sanitary, nothing under builder services, and then customer care. Letters, we had 95, went out on the 8th, tags on the 27th, and disconnects were completed on the 4th, and you can see the dates for the next following. I do want to ask, our disconnects for the month of December is showing the 27th. I know I always like to ask at the end of the year if boards want to move the disconnect till after the new year, or if you want to leave it where it is. Doesn't matter either way, but I just like to bring that up if the board wants to move it.
So what have we done in the past?
I probably should. Yeah.
We have a lot of districts who defer till right after the new year.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, and then lastly, no collections, no write-offs, no collections for this month. And so no action items for me here today, other than the standard delinquent process that we do every month.
I will have y'all take a motion authorizing the delay of the disconnects by 1 week.
Okay.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? And then, Robert, you and I can chat once you talk to 216. I'll just need to talk with their attorney. I don't know if their board, I guess, been made aware of what their operator is asking you guys to do. I'm not saying they don't, or they are, but they're telling the district that they can't take water. And you guys still have a lot of gallons you need to take this year. That will probably be added on to what you guys want to get in 2022 since they're at plan. We'll talk about that.
But we do have, open communication with the, I have direct contact with their operator and their management out there, so we can get this knocked out as smoothly as possible.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Robert, did y'all put out drought contingency signs for 346?
346 does those.
They do themselves?
Correct.
Okay.
Their own operator should.
But I noticed they still have one out.
Oh, do they? I can let the operator know to go pick that up. Sorry, what was the cross street or corner? That...
It's just north of Kingsland, going between that short street. I'm trying to think what the name is, but it's between the two medical buildings that are off of Kingsland.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I don't know what 346's drought contingency plan says, but it might say if City of Houston has implemented theirs, then they have to theirs. That could possibly be why they have every district's drought contingency plan is. Okay. Anything else for the operator's report? All right. We already took motions, so there's nothing else. Agenda item 16 is the Green Trails monthly report. We did not receive the report prior to today's meeting, but board, once we get it, we will forward it to you all. This is for law enforcement, but no action for the board. Just let you know what's going on within the boundaries of the district. Agenda item 17, mass communication messaging systems, and then the approval of the First Amendment to the agreement with Classic Messaging for the creation of a district website. I sent this to Dominic, the draft amendment, which just adds that they will attempt to create the district website. Very standard language. I didn't get his signed copy back. I talked with him this morning and he wasn't in the office. So board, up to you guys, but I know y'all are antsy to get this moved along. So if you want to approve it subject to me receiving their signed signature page in Texas Ethics Commission Form 1295, and then you can appoint Rhett if they have any comments. They shouldn't have any comments, but if they do, have a board member be appointed to work with me on that. But up to you guys. We could defer it or
A motion.
all right, we got a motion from Aaron. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Brett, I don't anticipate anything, but just in case. Okay, all right. And when I talked to him, he and his team are in the process of actually creating the district website. And what I recommended was get the board's sign off prior to actually having it go live. So I know he's working with consultants on getting everything that they're supposed to so that the district is in legal compliance with what you're supposed to have on a website. But hopefully at the January meeting, they can either go through the website with you guys and y'all can then approve it and authorize it to go live. Or if it's still not ready at the January meeting, then you can have Aaron authorize it to go live. But I don't think it should be done without at least one of you seeing it.
I wanted to kind of look at it before the board.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
To make
Good.
sure that, page,
Any questions on the website or mass communication messaging system? With respect to Angela's comment about the notice regarding candidate filing period, the deadline for that was today, so that's getting posted throughout the district. And so I sent the notice that was supposed to go to Dominic, the notice that he's supposed to email out. I don't think I mentioned this last week when we talked about it, but just as a reminder, y'all are Harris County. So the election code requires anything that deals with the election be translated in Spanish, Chinese, and Vietnamese. And Dominic made a comment that there could possibly be an issue with the Chinese characters and the Vietnamese language translating. I was hoping to hear from him prior to the meeting on whether that was going to be who's doing a test email.
I have enough.
You do?
I talked to him after you talked to him.
Okay.
And I told him to shoot me a text as soon as he knew something. And basically, he's still having issues with the Chinese flagging this. So I asked him if there was any other workaround that he's still working on.
Okay.
As of right now,
Okay. If they cannot do a workaround, I do not legally recommend you guys do it. You will be in violation of the election code. And the way we recommend is you are in strict compliance with the election code, even though this isn't something that's legally required that's being mailed out, but anything that deals with the election, because you're in Harris County, I would not recommend.
if we do it incorrectly, potentially violation.
So
he'll hear back from me.
Okay.
As a
well, hopefully he can come up with one so that it can be emailed out to the residents. So board, do you want to concur if he does not have a workaround, you're not emailing it?
Yes.
Is it, from a voting requirements perspective, do you have to send it out today, since this is due today? You can do it after.
All right, agenda item 18 is the status of the installation of the hike and bike underpass on Fry Road by Willow Fork Drainage District. I still have not received anything else from Willow Fork Drainage District. I don't know if y'all have seen anything online. No update then. Agenda item 19 is the attorney's report. We did get an email from the city of Houston, since y'all are a part of the groundwater reduction plan with them. They are forming a groundwater reduction program committee. And so in connection with your GRP contract with the city of Houston, you can nominate 2 candidates to be on the ballot, and most nominations will actually be on the ballot, to be a part of that committee. They are going to elect 2 members with experience serving on confirmation and reclamation district boards to hold positions within their new GRP. I don't know if y'all have any 2 individuals you would like to nominate. The deadline is January 31st, so I can bring this back to you guys next month if y'all want to think about it. And if you don't want to nominate anybody, that is also fine, because you can elect, you know, whenever you go out and vote, you can vote for who's actually nominated, but up to you guys.
Is that nominating from the board or nominating anybody?
Anybody. You're an empty nester now, Mike. You do have until January 31st, so next month, if y'all think of anybody, that's all I have. All right, agenda item 20 is the litigation involving the district. We will go into closed session to talk about this. And agenda item 21 is going into closed session. Before we adjourn, consultants, is there anything anyone would need to add to the January agenda? Then just as a reminder, the draft budget was presented, so especially engineer and operator, please look at that, especially when y'all update the capital improvement, see if anything needs. Okay. All right, it is 12:55 p.m. We will go into closed session pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code.
Thank you all very much for your work this past year. Merry Christmas to you all.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy New Year.
Same to you, rest of the board.